mine and my husband's sexual differences pertaining to, I have a high sex drive. He does not due to medical reasons, and
Okay.
that's a big issue within our marriage, mostly on my side.
Okay.
And so I'm right now trying to see whether or not it is worth the energy anymore to try and get my husband hopefully along the same line as me, or at least trying to put effort into it.
Man, I can almost hear the shame in your question.
Yeah, I'm not proud of it. Of course I'm not. But it's
Hold on. This is your body.
Yeah. It's been over 10 years.
Yeah.
Total. And we have kids, and I understand the stress, of course. We have
Stop.
4 children.
You're just trying to talk it out. Just sit with it for a second, okay? I can hear it on you.
Yeah.
Have you done dumb things over the last 10 years?
Yes. To be honest, I have, and I have come clean about those.
What's happened?
I have. It gets to the point where it becomes such a big buildup, and I feel, in a way, abandoned, even though I've communicated and my husband's aware of my sex drive, to where I've gotten so frustrated I have stepped out on my marriage, and infidelity has happened.
Okay.
I'm not at all dismissing it. I know it's not right, but I'm just sometimes kind of getting in the point of, is it fair for me just to be told that, well, this is just how it is, so just deal with it? Or
I think both things are true. I think both things are true. Okay. No, I don't ever believe, outside of, yes, some serious physical challenges, okay? I don't ever believe in any marriage around any issue that the phrase, "This is how I am."
Yeah.
I don't ever think that's okay. And I don't think it's okay to cheat either.
Yeah.
Both.
And I'm not.
But you see what I'm saying?
Happy
Like,
of it.
I know. But I want you to fully own it.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll even go as far to, I don't want to put words in your mouth, but due to your frustration and due to your heartbreak and due to feeling like you're being rejected, you became somebody you never thought you would become.
Exactly. But I've also, since going through all this, I've come to terms that in a lot of ways I wasn't really raised per se with a very healthy, setup pertaining to relationships.
I know. But you're already going back to, well, it's actually how I was raised. It's actually how I'm being treated.
No.
I want, listen, all the way to the beginning. I heard it right when you called. I just want you to sit with it for a second.
Yeah.
Okay? And there's a ton of reasons, and we'll talk about some of them.
Mm-hmm.
But there's so much deflecting going on.
Yeah.
Just sit with it for a second. You're in a marriage that you go home to every day. You got 4 kids, you said? So you got a house of chaos.
Yeah.
And you're looking at somebody in the storm saying, will you come meet me here in the storm? And he says, no, I ain't coming.
That is sometimes how I feel.
Okay. Now, let's dig into the truth of that. Tell me about his medical condition.
I want to obviously respect him.
Don't apologize for it. Just go straight.
He's not. So he has ED,
Okay.
but it's not due to testosterone. It's due to a blood flow issue.
Okay.
He himself, like, we sat down and talked about this on multiple occasions, and it just seems that we always go slowly back into the same thing. But I have communicated to him that, while I'm understanding and I'm not angry at him for having this medical condition, I still have needs as well. And that, always kind of turns into him taking that extremely defensively, which is understanding, and him being like, well, I feel like you are saying that I wanted this issue.
What has he done? What has he done to try to solve the issue?
He has gone to a doctor in a male's clinic. That's where we got his testosterone checked, and he's fine there. But with that, that's where we found out as well the type of ED he has.
So has he tried Cialis, or has he tried any of the medications? Just the easy ones?
Yeah, he's tried medication through like Hims and stuff. We've tried Viagra, and things still aren't really working to where it's slightly building up again in a form of also slight frustration and resentment somewhat. Because during our, obviously our intimate times, he's able, because I have to give so much attention to him, he's able to be fully satisfied in ways where I'm not, because I have to be understanding of his situation. And so I feel slight, build up overall due to the fact that we're not able to physically have it very often, but also in the times that we do, I, in a lot of ways, feel unsatisfied because I'm not able to be taken care of due to that.
Can I throw another option out there?
Yes.
I think there's another option.
I've brought up sex therapy, and he's open to it.
Now, hold on. I think there's another option here beneath it. Because if he was struggling with ED, which is a increasingly common phenomenon for a million different reasons.
Okay?
Yeah. And he looked at you and was like, I don't come hell or high water. I'm going to every doctor in the country to solve this problem because I want to be with you. And on the nights when his body just wasn't working as he wanted it to, he was singularly focused on making sure there's not going to be an orgasm gap in my house, which is the literature name for it that's happening all across the country. The orgasm gap is well known, right?
Yeah.
And it was completely focused on, all right, it's not working for me tonight, but you're about to have the night of your life. And we're going to go again tomorrow, right? If that was happening, my guess is you would be on the same team. It wouldn't be this me versus him. And so what you're suggesting is, here's what I'm putting on the table. I think that you're saying, I really want to be with you. And he's saying, nah, I don't really want to be with you. That's the way it feels.
Yes.
And and by the way,
I do feel that way.
I've talked to countless men. It's embarrassing. It's shameful. It's something that men think about all day because it's just not, there's no feeling there. It's not working. Like I totally get that. And I have to be an adult. Husbands have to be grown-ups and say, okay, I'm not going to let my shame completely rob and starve my partner.
That's exactly how I feel.
Okay. So let's deal with that actual issue, because when you keep making it something mechanical, y'all are avoiding the big issue.
Yeah.
Because when you bring it up, he feels ashamed, and his way of responding to his shame is he comes after you, and y'all get in this dance. And then you keep dancing, and then somebody at work says, my God, you're beautiful. And then you go do something completely stupid.
And that's exactly what has happened.
I know.
On so many different occasions, and it's frustrating.
It is. It's frustrating. But do you see how you've created this world where everything is happening to you, and he's created a world where he's a victim in his own body, so he quits?
Because I just literally last week we had a conversation where I said that he needs to go to therapy, otherwise I'm going to heavily think about separation. And he flat out asked me, well, is this an ultimatum? And I'm like, in a way, yeah. Obviously, I don't want it because I do love him. I mean, we've been together since I was 19, 20. And so we've been together for our whole entire pretty much young adult lives. And, I want it to end with him as well, but I just feel like I just am always the one having to, you know, meet in the middle and the one having to compromise all the time. And I don't feel that being reciprocated, which is just frustrating. And
it's not frustrating. It is heartbreaking. Counseling 101 is not to put words in your client's mouth, and so I'm doing that here, and I'm sorry. But I think you keep minimizing it. And your body is screaming at you.
Yeah.
And you're like, well, this is just really frustrating. And then you tell yourself a dishonest story, which is it just builds up and I can't help myself. That's not true. You can.
And and it's like I have been able to really have no issues, but it's just, I just get so frustrated when I communicate with him, and I again don't see a change. Like there's days where when he's off, like I'll be like, hey, I'm in the mood, and I'll try to instigate it, and he's just like, well, I'm not feeling it today and I want to drink or something. And I'm like, oh, okay, that's fine. And I'll just walk off. Like,
okay, but do you realize that's not about sex? It's not about sex. Let's take sex off the table for a second, okay?
It's just I'm craving the intimacy.
I know, but I almost guarantee you that's in other places in your marriage. Does this happen with money?
We do somewhat disagree on
that's right.
either, well, not as heavily as it used to be pertaining to finances. I mean, I can acknowledge what some would consider slightly comfortable. Like I'm middle class, but you know, I don't have to stress over a lot of bills, and so I feel
but hold on, there you go, minimizing it again. Right? Y'all aren't on the same page with how you obtain, save, and spend money. And what that means is you're not in alignment on what do you want this year to look like. And that means you're not in alignment on, in 5 years, where do we want to live? And that means you're not in alignment on, in 15 years, where do we want our kids to go to college? Right? And that plays out minute by minute. What about holiday plans? How do y'all decide where you're going to travel?
No, because he doesn't want to think about it.
Okay. That's the issue. Okay?
He doesn't want to make any decisions or deal with it, and that's another.
Okay, so do you hear this recurring theme? You're married to somebody who has opted out of his own life. Sex is a part of it, and sex is the part for most people when they feel dead in their own skin. Pornography makes them feel alive. That guy at work that's like, my God, you're beautiful, makes you feel alive.
Yeah.
Okay.
I feel wanted.
Yes, but that's deep. That's a piece of it. I think wanted is the story you tell yourself. And I may be out to lunch.
Yeah.
I think beneath that is you are trying to co-create a life with somebody that looked at you and said, I am out. Or to put it another way, he left you a long time ago. He just still lives in the same house. I don't want to talk to you about our future. I don't want to talk to you about your needs. I don't want to talk to you about what you want. I don't want to talk to you about how we spend money. I don't want to talk to you about how we go on vacation. I want to just opt out. The direct deposit's happening. You should be happy. I'm going back to my beer and my video games.
See, and because he disassociates on his phone, and he does help with the kids. And I mean, we do have opportunities of having discussions and whatnot, but what does tend to happen is every now and then I'll bring something up and he'll be like, well, I thought we were already over this. And I'm like, well, obviously not. We're not. I just bring something up to you and I give you the opportunity as a man to step up and follow through. I don't want to be sitting here reminding you, because then it's going to feel like I'm nagging you.
Right.
So I'm going to wait a few months, see if you're actually putting forth the effort. And if you're not, then I'm going to bring it up again.
Okay, but that is the definition of nagging. That's not. Here's the difference between taking him on. I'm not leaving this room until you engage with me. If I'm not more important than your beer, and I'm not more important than your phone, and I'm not more important than you have a little checklist. I played with the kids. I put 2 of them to bed. I changed a diaper. Leave me alone. If I'm not more important to you than that, then I want you to be a grown man and tell me you've left this marriage. On the other side, Megan, you can't cheat.
I know.
Because you become somebody that you don't respect anymore. And it's hard to request somebody else treat you differently than you know yourself to be inside. Right?
Yeah.
And you probably spend money on the side, or you have conversations on the side, or you vent on the side. It's all about you're starting to circumvent the life that you had. So he's quit his life. You're starting to go around it.
Yeah, I can see that.
And the only path is through it. And so, yes, when it comes back to an ultimatum, I think an ultimatum here is fair, but it's not about sex. And the more you make it about ED, the more you make it about, I tried Viagra, didn't work, lay off, the more y'all are missing the point. Here's the next path. Okay, you ready? And I say this all the time. I'm going to keep saying it. Hey, honey, I got someone to come watch our 4 kids. I want you and me to go to breakfast tomorrow or on Saturday. And I need you to be fully with me, no phones. You're going to bring a piece of paper or something. I need you to be fully with me. Oh, God, what? Are we talking? No. I just need you to be with me. And when you sit down, say, I've got the very clear message that you no longer want to be married to me. And I also have the very clear, and you can say from your, I have done these things. And the story I'm telling myself is because I've done these things, you no longer want to be married with me. I need to know now, do you still want to be married? Because if you do, we got to build something completely new. And that means I need you fully engaged. And that means I need you to hear me say, I'm sorry that I have blown up my side of this marriage and done things that I never thought I would do. Exhale. And that means he's going to have to learn new skills. He's going to have to have uncomfortable conversations with multiple doctors. He's going to have to be willing to be awkward with you in the bedroom. And when it's not happening, be like, all right, it's my turn, batter up, right? He's going to have to go through that shame and awkwardness. And you're going to have to be willing to go, I'm raring, ready to go. Ah, man, I thought it was going to be wild intercourse night. It's not. We're going to go to plan B and C and D, right? And y'all going to work together.
Yeah.
Right? But all of that will be predicated on, does he even want to be married to you? And his behaviors of language is, he is out. Have that conversation. I'm happy to talk to him, and you call me back anytime, and we'll get you back through and put you back on the show. I want to know how that conversation goes. Okay? Go straight into the conversation. Thank you so much for the call. You're not broken. There's not something wrong with you. You've done dumb things, but there's not something wrong with you. Now it's, here we are. What are we going to do next? We've chosen misery. What if we chose to do something amazing next?